Hey, good morning, friends. It's Joe. Welcome to my scripture reflection for Tuesday, October the 17th. Hope all is well with you on this Tuesday morning. And in a sobering note, as the conflict continues to escalate in the Middle East, I would like us to enter into prayer before the scripture reflection once again. And I urge you, as I've done before, to consider that there are innocent people and animals on all sides of these conflicts. There is still the conflict going on in Ukraine and Russia, even though you haven't heard as much about it. And it's the innocent ones that we should really focus our prayer on. And of course, as I say, also, without getting into sides or issues, just for peace. Plain and simple, pray for peace. So let's just quiet our minds and hearts. And instead of me saying anything, I'm just going to, a few minutes of silence. And I'd ask you to consider the innocent ones, the people and the animals, and a real solid prayer that comes from your heart for peace, not only in these conflict places, but in all the world. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask you to continue to have your minds and hearts quiet as we hear today's gospel, which is from St. Luke, chapter 11, verses 37 to 41. After Jesus had spoken, a Pharisee invited him to dine at his home. He entered and reclined at table to eat. The Pharisee was amazed to see that he did not observe the prescribed washing before the meal. The Lord said to him, O you Pharisees, although you cleanse the outside of the cup and the dish, inside you are filled with plunder and evil. You fools, did not the maker of the outside also make the inside? But as to what is within, give alms, and behold, everything will be clean for you. In the last couple of years, especially since I have launched myself so much into trying to help animals in need of all species around the world, I admittedly have, lost some sense of some things that are going on, and I quickly try to catch up. I found out that Taylor Swift was dating the receiver for the Chiefs and things like that. But there's other things that I've learned along the way. And one thing that came to mind this morning when I was reading this gospel was the 5-second rule. And I was taught that now if you drop a piece of bread or something on the floor, you have 5 seconds to pick it up, unless, of course, one of my dogs gets to it first. But you have 5 seconds to pick it up, I'm told, and then it's still clean enough to eat. Now, that may be a debatable point, but the reality is there are so many things, as we hear in the gospel, that are unclean that we do take into our bodies. It's just a reality. It's just the way the world works, and, dust particles or whatever are everywhere. What matters more than anything else is how our body processes it. So my thoughts on this gospel today is that, we don't really worry about the little unclean things that we do that harm no one. That's important to put in there. The little jokes maybe, or the little things that go on that come out of a person's mouth, or little actions that we might do, again, harmless ones. We worry more about what's inside of our heart. And that's what Jesus is trying to tell us. And if we look at it from the perspective that we probably all know someone who is, as the saying goes, holier than thou, but the intentions of their heart are not pure at all, what would you choose? Wouldn't you choose somebody who has truly a clean heart instead of the person who outwardly seems to be all proper and prim and proper and everything, but then in their heart they're filled with malice? I think that's an obvious answer, and we've all experienced it, and Jesus is giving us a red light warning about it today. So what do we do then, because we should always worry about ourselves, right? Well, Jesus gives us an answer for that as well, as he always does. For ourselves, well, our outward actions, if we're following the 5 second rule and we're doing the best we can and we realize that we're human and certain things we're going to do outwardly, well, okay. Again, without harm to others. But to check our hearts, we give of ourselves. As he puts it in the gospel, we give alms. We give of ourselves. We give of ourselves physically and emotionally as much as we possibly can, sacrificially to others. And then we see the intentions of our heart. If there's a hesitation, if there's a real hesitation to say, no, I'm not giving of myself, I'm not giving this up, being sacrificing in my life. No, I want it all for myself. Well, then you need to question your heart. But if you're doing this freely, and the more you do this freely and give of yourself, well, then there's certainly a good chance that your heart is in the right place and will stay in the right place. So Jesus gives us that check and balance and way to operate it in our daily life. And I would urge us all, as I always say, starting with myself, to do just that. Well, my friends, that's my message for you on this Tuesday morning. As always, I hope it was helpful for you and you could take it into your day and into your week. I always welcome your comments and your thoughts. I appreciate you being here more than anything else. And as I said, and that we had our time in the beginning of our time together this morning, please continue to pray for, meditate, whatever word you want to use, offer good thoughts, however you want to phrase it, for peace on this earth, that we need more now than ever before. And yes, it could start with ourselves, with more compassionate acts. I wish you all a wonderful Tuesday, my friends, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everyone.